Droners, before we get into DroneOne news today, just want to let you guys know we have a collaboration happening with John from DroneOne Media, and because of that, we're doing a giveaway. And that giveaway is for $250 dropping stuff from your drone thing called the Flifli system. I call it the Flifli, some call it Flifli. You would know it from the drone darts video that I did. And if you want to enter, all you got to do is comment subscribed in my channel, subscribed on his channel, any videos that are released on the 19th, 23rd, 26th, or 30th. And then find one of our social medias. Mine's at DroneOne Official, his is at DroneOne Media, and just hit subscribe to any one of those, and you are instantly entered to either get a t-shirt from me, him, or possibly win the Flifli system. So do it, check it out, stay fly. Droner. Hey Droners, and welcome to this week's edition of DroneOne News. And we actually have some really cool stuff, like always, like, I don't know, batteries powered by seawater, Trump meeting with drone companies, and drones helping people, because they do that. So let's get in. All right, coming in at number one, we have a story out of Hawaii. At the National Tropical Botanical Garden in Hawaii, they're pretty much using drones to map their grounds. And they had a really pleasant surprise when the drone mapper, the guy named Ben Nyberg, found out, or the lead drone pilot, I should say, but he found out that there was 10 of an incredibly rare native plant. It's called a luquahi. That was there. This plant is really special to natives in Hawaii because they actually use it for healing purposes, and it's been really devastated. Its populations have been devastated from invasive species and goats and things like that, eating them because apparently they're delicious to goats. So either way, there wouldn't have been a real way to be able to see these plants by naked eye, and there's no way that somebody could really get up there to see it because it's like on a sheer cliffside. But the drones can make us do things that we normally can't, and this is one great example of using a drone to discover things we otherwise might not have. So now they're actually looking forward to trying to find some drones that might be able to take a sample of these plants so that they might be able to plant more and reintroduce them into the places they're supposed to be in anyway. So this could be drones literally helping to save a species, so keep your eye on it. So coming in at number two, we have the European Union developing some blanket drone laws. And what they're really trying to do is they're planning to roll out in 2019 some traffic control laws for drones. And they're still, you know, it's still a really rough plan, but what they're trying to do is petition to negotiate with the 28 countries still left in the EU. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Britain, still left in the EU. But they're modeling it after the current airline traffic controls and making it happen the way that it already has been. And EU is pretty behind when it comes to drone regulations thus far, you know, because most of their drone law covers things that are only like 300 pounds or above. And individual nations are pretty much left to be able to determine what their drone laws are. And that gets you to a place like Sweden that has, you know, I already talked about in a previous DroneOne news, is that Sweden is just straight up just like, hey, nobody's allowed to fly drones because there's surveillance cameras and you have to, you know, register them as that, and it's just a whole process. So pretty much they're like, you can't have drones. So yeah, hopefully this has become some kind of law that actually makes sense, that the rest of the world can probably look after. Hopefully they're looking at what the FAA is doing here and making laws that can make it so that, you know, drones and people can live in harmony. So let's definitely keep our eye on this. I'll probably be talking about this again pretty soon. Coming to number three, we have drones powered by salt water, aka the ocean. And this is really cool because developers at MIT called Open Water Power. It's a spinoff from MIT group, and they pretty much develop batteries that can be powered by seawater. And it's really good for drones because drones right now, the ones that are underwater, typically have bigger batteries than the ones that are in the air because it takes a lot of energy to keep them down there, and the amount of flight time that they have is pretty short. Also considering they normally have to throw a lot of light, you know, because you can't see underwater. It's just a lot. It takes a lot from the battery. It's not a good idea to have these lithium-ion batteries underwater when you can just have an aluminum-based battery underwater. And that's what these are. They use aluminum and salt water, and I don't even claim to understand the science of how this works. I'm going to look into it, though. To be able to make this happen, and the exhaust from the process is put back into the ocean. But it's good news to that is that the exhaust is completely harmless. It doesn't do anything, apparently. At least that's what the articles are saying. So either way, this is a really good thing, a really powerful thing for underwater drones, because if we can power the underwater drones from literally the water that they're in, then we might be able to get to some flight time. I keep doing this for flight times that are absolutely ridiculous, but you know, that can mean a lot of good things in the sense of discovering more things in the ocean, ocean search and rescue missions, and you know, maybe some really cool kinds of jet skis or something. I don't know. Either way, keep your eye on it because MIT does really cool stuff, and I'm really hoping that this can be cool. All right, coming to number four. I actually did a video during the presidential campaign about President Trump versus Hillary Clinton and what they'd be like with in regards to drones and drone regulations. And we're going to possibly find out pretty soon. We're taping this right now before this meeting happened, but Trump actually has a bunch of drone companies meeting him at the White House And I don't know exactly what they're discussing, but the crazy thing is these are the companies. Let me list you the companies that they're actually meeting with. It's Kespri, it's like a construction insurance drone company. AirMap is a drone mapping company. Precision Hawk, which does agriculture and inspection and airspace, and that's one that like protects you against rogue drones and stuff like that. They take down drones. Those are the companies he's meeting with, and obviously the notably missing drone companies are, of course, DJI, 3D Robotics, and Project Wing, which is Google's drone project. And they said they wouldn't be attending. And it's not clear if these companies were invited and said no, or they just weren't invited at all. But either way, like, this is going to be happening the same day that Trump is meeting with some other wireless companies talking about the applications of 5G internet stuff and building infrastructure to be able to accommodate that. So it sounds like the president is going to be dealing with a lot of technology in the same day. I'm hoping that, you know, it's something that can be prioritized to make things good. But I don't know, like, just meeting with these particular drone companies, what it's going to be looking towards, because this isn't really any consumer stuff. But either way, we'll keep our eye on it and report on what came from this after the meeting. Coming in last but not least, the researchers at the UC Santa Barbara have developed a way for drones to be able to, that are outfitted with Wi-Fi emitters, to be able to see through walls and map an area. So pretty much what they do is they put one drone, it's almost like echolocation. They put one drone on the inside, one drone on the outside, and then they transmit to each other, and what happens in between, in the sense of like, oh, okay, it couldn't get through this part of the wall, and we know from history that these kind of building blocks or materials, bam, these kind of materials reflect Wi-Fi in this way or transmit through it this way. So in doing that and having the knowledge of how Wi-Fi is affected by different kind of building materials or things that are in the walls, you can actually get a very accurate layout of what is open airspace and what the places are built out of. And the, you know, obviously the mapping capabilities are amazing. The thing that I have to imagine is that whichever drone's inside of these structures is going to have a hella good, it's going to have to be really small, it's going to have hella good object avoidance. It has to be a really smart indoor drone. But either way, this is a way that, you know, as they get better, which they will, that possibly SWAT teams or something like that could just throw their drone into a building and then be able to map out the whole entire location. Like, bam, this is James Bond now, and this is what Rainbow Six is doing, and we got it, because it's super easy. Assuming that the government doesn't already have these, and this is the technology that we're developing right now on the back end. But either way, that's something that could work for it. I personally think that if they're going to be able to get a drone inside of a building, then why wouldn't they just weaponize it and just take out whatever the hostage holder person is? But you know, who am I? I'm not a SWAT team member. They might just want to map it out and shoot people themselves. So either way, this has far-reaching, I believe this will probably be most useful in forms of construction, when I say, okay, let's redo this building, let's renovate this, or let's add this, and let's see, we don't have the original building plans, let's see what this building is actually made out of, or what the actual specs of it are, because we can't find them. Then you can map it with drones like this and be like, bam, look at that, we got it all, it's going to be much easier to do our job now. Or, oh my God, there's a bunch of rats infesting this area. Either way, it's pretty cool stuff. Check it out. Droners, thank you for checking out this week's edition of DroneOne News. And if you want to see more DroneOne News, because we got plenty, bam, they're right here. Or if you want to see the coolest opening video to any drone channel, if you haven't seen it yet, you really should watch it. Like, it's kind of cool. It's like a trailer for us. And it's right here. Otherwise, make sure you subscribe to our channel, because that allows what we do. That's what makes it do so we can do it. And as always, make sure you stay fly.